Well, hello, hello. Hey, I got something to say. This is a really big treat. Here's the deal. We are doing this on Zoom and we're going to spread it all over social media. Meet my pal and my friend. Elaine is in the house. Hi, Elaine.
Hello, Sandy. It's great to be with you today.
So just so you know I'm very transparent. We usually go live on Instagram, but the gods of the internet was not with her voice. So you were hearing every other word. And I said, forget that. She has so many pearls of wisdom. We're going to record it and then blast it out. But before we do that, let me tell you about Elaine. And I love that she sent this to me and I smile every time I read it. But here you go. A 6'5", 200-pound man once looked at Elaine Pasqua standing at 5'3" and said, "You are the biggest little thing I've ever seen. For 25 years, this funny, passionate, and energetic woman has been traversing the country, helping her clients obtain peak performance through positive relationships." You know, I love that. She has worked with countless businesses and associations, 31 sports teams across the NFL, NBA, and MLB, hundreds of college campuses, and our military leaders. But her passion lies in transforming people to create stronger, innovative teams to increase business profit. So before we get into your tips and talk about roll with the punches, what is the one thing that you want to say to these women that you just have to get out, Elaine?
Ladies, you need the balls to make the call, and that's it.
God, I love that. Tell us more. Why? Why?
Some women love it and others are like, well, wait a minute, that's more male oriented, using the word balls. But I grew up in New Jersey, so I'm sorry, but that's just the way we speak. So
me too.
Okay, see, we got it. So we Jersey girls, we can be a little, my husband said I make sailors blush. So my 25-year career as a professional speaker, and you can see I've expanded across many different markets, was based upon picking up the phone and calling people, or not even just about that, but networking relentlessly, not being afraid to develop these relationships, because that's what life is all about. It's not just within our own personal lives, but in the business world too, is developing relationships, building trust with people, getting to know people. And if you don't reach out to people, where are you going to get? And I ended up in places that I never, ever imagined that little old me who grew up on Gertrude Street, New Jersey, would end up. So that's it.
Okay, so how do you handle the rejection? Like, what do you do when someone doesn't call you back? I mean, how do you handle that? Like, do you take it personally? Do you just keep calling until they say no? What's your trick?
Well, you don't give up. And first of all, if somebody rejects you and they do say no, it doesn't mean that it's over. It may not just be the right time. So for instance, I reached out to the New York Giants. I had been speaking at colleges all across the country for quite a few years and created a niche for working with collegiate athletes. And then one day I said, I'd like to work for the NFL. So I found the way to get through the front office of the New York Giants. And I called them up and I got connected to the guy who hires people to come in and speak and do player development programming for the rookies. And he was very nice, very polite and very sweet. And he said, no, thank you. And I said, okay. And I waited a whole year. So I didn't give up, but I didn't become a pest. And I waited a year, so I knew it was about the time of the cycle that he would be considering programming for that coming May and June. And he was very nice. And he said, I'll have my intern look at it. And nothing became of it. So I waited a whole nother year. And then we got on the phone again. And I said to him, Charles, I'll come in for free. And he goes, okay, their budgets are actually quite smaller than people think. And so he's like, free, let's have the team psychologist look at your videos. She loved it. They brought me in. And then what ended up happening is that opened up the doors to me doing a training for the NFL itself. And I remember standing there looking out their window on Park Avenue before I was supposed to start the training thinking, I can't, if my friends could see me here, I can't believe I'm here. But I had the courage to keep trying. And then that opened the doors because the NFL started bringing me to other conferences, and I worked with 8 other teams. And then it opened up the doors of the NBA because when the NBA heard that I worked with Charles, they're like, oh, we love Charles. That opened up that door. So one thing leads to another. And people are like, you did it for free? I said, yeah, but that picture of me with my arm around Odell Beckham is worth $1 million.
Absolutely.
You have to think of the big picture. Now, sometimes you do get rejected and it's a flat no. So what do? You dust yourself off, you pick yourself up and you say, to hell with them. And you go on with plan B.
Yeah.
And you just keep, I met Mark Burnett, who was the producer of Survivor. And he said, you just keep moving forward. Whenever you hit a point in the road where you're not sure which direction to go, just keep moving forward, but always have your goals. It's like that little carrot at the end of the stick. Always have your goals in mind and just keep pushing forward. And that's it.
I was thinking of you because I'm applying to be an adjunct professor at some places. And the one was a definite for the program that I was doing, Train Your Head, Body Would Follow. And it was just a matter of the dean okaying it. And then I got an email yesterday. I'm sorry, we can't fit it in this year. Reach out next year. And yeah, I was bummed, but I thought about what you said. They didn't say no.
Nope. It doesn't mean it's over. They said if they didn't want you, they would not say, reach out again next year. And so you touch them again, maybe when did you first make that contact with them? When do they first start considering?
May.
Okay, so maybe reach out in March. Because then you're on their radar and you send the email, say, here's our email that I received below.
Yeah.
And I'm touching base again. And what would you like me to do? How would you like me to move forward? Because I'm still very interested in working with you. So, I tell people, I've said this over and over again, when people are fearful to ask, I said, you have a 50-50 chance. And if you don't take that chance, you're not going to get that 50% chance of hearing a yes. And if you hear a no, it's okay. Other things will come along. So you can't get devastated when things go wrong, because so many people I know through my work have been let go. A lot of the people that I worked with the NFL, they were let go. They're no longer there. It changed my relationship with them. But I watch this all the time. And as humans, we pick ourselves up and we just learn how to move forward. And other doors open. Sometimes it becomes the silver lining.
Yeah.
And better things come along. And I've seen this happen to a lot of people. So you can't be afraid to go for it. And that's what I keep saying. Have the balls to make the call. Think about what you want to do. What kind of goals do you have? What do you want to achieve? And who could you best reach out to make those goals? And if that's not the right person, ask them, who should I reach out to?
That's a good point. Yeah, because maybe they can't get you where you want to go.
No, but people like to help. And there's a really interesting book called The Defining Decade, Why Your 20s Matter and How to Make the Most of Them Now. And the one chapter that I love is called Weak Ties. And it was a study that was done by a Scandinavian sociologist that said that, and this was done in the 70s out at Stanford University. And basically they said that our connections for success don't come from within our inner circle. They usually happen with people who were just touching, just glancing by. And that's how I got on the college circuit. Totally changed my life. Dean of Students saw my program once, brought me back to his office and said, do you have a speaking agent? I'm like, no, it was my first college gig. And he said, I really like this program. And he took days and mentored me and propelled me onto the national college circuit.
Wow.
So one person. So that's why talk to people around you. You just never know who you're touching, because people inherently do like to help others.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I have a couple of questions here because I told people you were coming on, and since they can't do it live, I'm going to read them for you. And the one young lady says, whenever you get no, do you ever ask why or what they could have done differently to get the gig?
Sure. It doesn't hurt to ask. I guess I just sort of feel them out. and see, and just say, is there anything that I could do differently for next year? Or did you decide to go in a different direction? Or did this not meet your needs? So, what we want to tell our clients is how we can solve their problems. That's our number one goal. And so we've got a lot of times that happens in the initial conversation and feeling them out. I mean, that's when I'm ever on the phone with somebody, one of the first things I ask them are, what are your greatest concerns? Like I have a phone call in about 45 minutes with the university out in Nebraska. That's what I'm going to ask them. What are your greatest challenges right now? How can I help you? So it doesn't hurt to ask why, because it helps you fine tune your messaging as you move forward.
Yeah.
Not everybody, you're not going to
Yeah.
appeal to everybody too. I mean, I have some people who are like my greatest fans, and I've been with some clients for 21 years in a row, and other people, I can't get my foot in the door. And it's just, and it is what it is. And I have to accept that. So.
Yeah, well, you can tell. And I think that's one of the biggest keys. You're very passionate about your message.
Yep, I am. And see, some people are in this for money, but my career began from passion because my mom and stepdad died of AIDS. And that was my whole impetus to start speaking, because I didn't want anybody to go through what my family went through twice. And so, and that passion, even though I expanded my areas of expertise and topics to alcohol, sexual assault, diversity, equity, inclusion. I mean, my wheelhouse and my expertise has expanded so much, but my passion still remains. And walking out of an engagement with a full heart means more to me than the paycheck that's in my hand.
Yeah.
And
so why don't we back up a little bit, because the audience may not know about that story when you're talking about your parents, and that's why you started speaking. What was your mission? What was your main mission back then? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I nursed two parents to their death, and I saw how horrific HIV and AIDS was to my family, and especially this was back in 1990 and 1995 that we experienced the two deaths. And I watched what the stigma did to them, and they lost the love and support. They died in secrecy and shame. We didn't get the support as a family because we couldn't tell people what was honestly happening. And so I didn't want anybody to go through that. And that's why I decided I wanted everybody to know and to learn that AIDS is everybody's disease. Yeah. If they're two beautiful people in their 60s, my stepfather got it from a medical product made from human plasma. But there were many more people that were infected than we thought. People were living this by the stereotypes. So that was my goal. And health and wellness has always been front and center to me. I was a dental hygienist, so I worked in public health for many years. So all of the other topics that I adopted have pretty much come under that wheelhouse. So
okay, so tell us about some of those topics when you're going now into colleges, or you said, did you do the Coast Guards recently?
I've worked with the Coast Guard Academy, and they had me work with sexual violence prevention and awareness. So when I work with colleges and universities, it's alcohol or high-risk drinking, drug abuse, sexual assault, sexual health, responsible social media.
Gotcha.
I've done diversity, equity, and inclusion. And then when I work for businesses, it's diversity, equity, and inclusion, sexual harassment, workplace harassment, effective communications. And I also do coaching on effective platform skills and public speaking as well. So military, it's more geared towards sexual assault, high-risk drinking, how that all plays into it, the chemical changes in the brain. So there's lots of different things. And with the athletes, the pro athletes, it's pretty much the same as what it is with the colleges and universities. And I've created a niche for working with collegiate athletes. So that's been a large body of my work over the years, is working with, I've worked with almost all the major Division I football programs, which is a blast. So I love these guys, these big bears. They're great.
I know. I wish I had. Do you have pictures or visual of you in the locker room and all these guys are surrounding you?
Maybe I can pull one up as we talk. So anyway, keep talking, and
all right. Yeah. So I think the big thing here that I want people to take away is, when you're, and we hear this all the time, and it sounds so cliche, but it's really not. When your why is so strong, why are you doing this? Why do you want to get this message out? You don't have to be, I was just talking about it earlier today. You don't have to be the first. You don't have to be, they've never heard this topic before. It just has to be coming from you and your story and why it is true to you, and you will make a big impact.
My why is because I've watched so many friends screw up their lives. I've met so many people through my work whose lives became such a struggle because of decisions that they made. One night, one inconsequential decision has dramatically altered lives, or different patterns that people got into with addiction, with destructive relationships, with sexual violence, all of that. And so to me, when I talk to people, I tell them, this is all about quality of life. It's about living a good life, an easy life that's not filled with drama and whatnot. All right, here you go. So it's like, where's Waldo? And you look, that's me with the New York Jets years ago, and you'll see me.
Oh, I see you.
And so, yeah, so I have, they're big boys, or I have these are some guys from the D League at the, see how tall they are, NBA. So you see how tall they are.
Yeah.
And I had one guy, I was up to his elbows, and people just, they don't even realize how this is, I'll just do one more. This is me with Carson Wentz when he came in to work. Look how tall Carson's, 6'5".
I know. It's so cute though. I love that you're 5'3". It actually makes it more special. Like,
I know. And I'm small bone too. I come from a very petite line of women, so it makes it even.
Now, do you ever walk in, this young lady wants to know, and they go like with that attitude, what do you got, pretty lady? Like they're thinking, oh God, what is she going to teach me?
Here's a great story to answer that question. I worked with the Baltimore Ravens for 4 years, and the Tennessee Titans were considering me for the rookie training. And the contact at the Titans reached out to my contact at the Ravens for reference. The guy at the Ravens, I later found out, said to him, she walks in the room, I don't think she weighs 100 pounds wet. The guys take one look at her and they think, what the hell? And then she opens her mouth. And because that's when my Jersey moxie comes out. So, I've had men trying to intimidate me, going, do you know you're the first woman to talk to the University of Alabama football program? Or are you nervous? Are you nervous? Or, they do these things. And it's like, I'm fine, because I'm just confident in my material. I'm confident in my knowledge. And actually, I don't know what it is, but football and I really connect. These guys connect with me, and maybe because a lot of them grew up in single parent homes. And so women have always been important to them. But I get a connection with football that I don't get with other audiences, or it's just stronger, I should say. So
do you like football?
I like football. I know I do. I do. I like football's fun to watch. I mean, I like all sorts of sports, but I'm a doer. I don't want to be sitting on the couch watching games all the time. I mean, when I know these guys, then I'll watch the games. Like the year that Carson came in, that was the year they won the Super Bowl. I knew all those guys. I was working with Jalen Mills. I was working with all of them, and it was a blast. So.
Yeah, it's fun. It's different. And I'm with you. I love sports. I'd rather be there, but I'm not one to sit home and watch them all day.
I'm a doer. I keep moving,
So. Yeah. Okay. I just want to circle back to this before we go, because this is really important. And you mentioned it before, you tapped in it and you said rejection is a part of doing business, but they want to know, how do you pick yourself back up? Because no matter what, it's got to sting when you get rejected.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, there aren't nights when I don't feel depressed about, a certain rejection that has come along, but I always let my goals outweigh the impact that the rejection has. So I just keep looking long-term, and I go, okay, so I had a bad day, or this person doesn't like me. So you just keep setting your goals, setting your sights high, and just going, all right, I want to do this. I want to do that. It's even like, Sandy, when you're working with an audience, and you'll see that there's that one person in the audience, their eyes are locked on you and they're nodding their head, and you've got them right here. And then you got the person 2 rows over, it's on their cell phone. So what do? Focus on the positive. I look at that one person because that one person gives me that affirmation to keep the energy instead of getting distracted with the negative that's over there. And so I think that's
That's
the
a
way
good
we need
point.
to do it in life. So you just always focus on the positive. And as I said, believe in yourself, believe in what you do, and
Yeah.
don't let anybody take the wind out of your sails. Because believe me, people have tried to do it to me before, but here I am. I'm still standing 25
Yeah.
years later.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's something that you have to work on every single day, because I don't know if it's human nature, but most people, they could have 10 people say you're amazing and one person say, you know what, you suck. And all they do is think about the one person over here, not the 9, 10 other people.
we do, and you memorize it. You'll get evaluations and it's all wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And you will memorize every single word of that negative evaluation. And what I have to remind myself, typically that person is probably writing a negative evaluation for everybody because they don't like themselves. And
Yeah.
so what we have to do is filter out that negative. I don't say don't discount it because we can learn from it
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
well. But we can't let it beat us down. I remember seeing Robin Roberts at a conference, and she talked about that. She said, you get all these rave reviews and somebody will write to me and go, I hated your lipstick. And all day long I'm thinking, oh, my lipstick. So, well-known people go through this all. We're humans. We want that positivity coming to us. And when you're a professional speaker or whatever you do for a living, and when you're out there in front of people, we're vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's almost like we have no clothes on, and
Yeah.
people can they can tear you apart. So I've often said, you need a really tough hide to be able to survive in the
Yeah.
business world. And you just have to believe in yourself and just filter that. It's like what we do in life. We get rid of those
Yeah.
negative
Yeah.
relationships and surround ourselves with positive. So that's it.
I have a question for you. Do you have a goal of how many people, you say be focused and set your eyes on your goal? Do you have so many people that you reach out to every week? Do you have or per day that you set?
I used to. Things have changed with COVID. I mean, and I'll be honest with you, because I'm an honest person. My work is so much slower now because of COVID than it was in the past.
Yeah.
And so it slowed me down a little bit, but I'm okay with that too. I think COVID became a reset for so many people. My goal, I used to be happy if I could personally touch base with 8 people a day. And now, because I am working on other video projects and virtual projects, which take up an exorbitant amount of my time, I'm not on the phone as much as I once was. So if I can have a few, like 3 meaningful conversations a day, that's a good day. But
Yeah.
I'm not trying. I used to do 80 engagements a year. And the year prior to COVID in 2019, I had 50. I was cutting back. And so because I wanted to cut back, because I'm older, I look younger than I am, but I'm older. And so I wanted to cut back a little bit and just to have my life be not quite as insane as it had been in the past. And I was doing really well in the beginning of 2020, and then everything just canceled and everything died. And so it's going to take a while for it to come back, but I want to focus more on corporate and business as well. And so it takes time for all that shift to happen.
Yeah.
I'm okay. You know what? I don't want to work and be as crazy as I love what I do. I'm so happy to do what I do, but I don't want to be. I was flying 65 flights a year.
Oof.
I would be out 4 days a week, come home Friday morning, and all I would be doing was unpacking and then packing to leave again. So you lose connection with your people here at home, your husband, all that. So I'm finding life is about balance. So that's what I'm working on now. So
aren't we all?
Yeah.
Elaine, thank you so much for taking the time to share this. I really appreciate it. I'll make sure we spread it around. People, please, so many people that could use that extra oomph and just be reminded of what is it they need to be reminded of, Elaine?
You need the balls to make the call. Don't be afraid to do it. Have that confidence.
I love that. I'm going to put it somewhere. And how can they find you and reach you?
Okay, you can reach me, Elaine, at ElainePasqua.com. That's Pasqua. And then I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn. So and my website is my name as well. So you can connect with me that way too. So thank you, Sandy. It was wonderful to be with you. And I apologize for the tech issues for those who did come live.
Oh, you know what? They get it. Believe me, I have friends that go on international news stations and it goes zot. I mean, it's just what happens when you go live, baby. So we got it in. There's always a way. You bob and
We'll
weave.
try
I mean,
again.
remember, have big balls.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I mean, my phone I was hooked up. I've got a router right over there,
Don't matter. It don't matter. We got it in, and you are going to inspire so many. I can't wait for them to hear this.
Thank you. I look forward
All
to
right,
it.
hey, I got something to say, people. I'm so grateful for you, and share it and like it. It really is appreciated. And until next time, toodles. Thanks,
Bye.
Elaine.
Bye. Thanks, Sandy.